Good morning. Barry Bryson, thanking you for joining me once again for another 5 good minutes with the Word. Today, we're stepping out of the book of Acts to go to the book of Galatians. We're still talking about Peter and the arc of his relationship with Jesus. And yesterday, Jesus himself spoke to Peter at Simon the tanner's house and told him to no longer consider common or unclean that which the Lord had cleansed, telling him that it was appropriate and necessary for him to share the gospel with Cornelius and with all Gentiles, telling him as well that it was all right to sit at table with Gentiles. We talked yesterday about how important it was, um, how important an issue table fellowship was in Acts chapter 10, because in Acts chapter 11, the Jews who found out, the Jewish Christians who found out about the Cornelius event, were not upset that he was baptized. They were upset that Peter sat down at a table and ate with Gentiles. And that continues to be an issue in our text today. We're going to be in Galatians chapter 2. Galatians chapter 2 happens after the baptism of Cornelius, because it involves Paul and Paul's missionary work, which hasn't begun yet in Acts chapter 10. Paul hasn't gone yet to Antioch and to be included in Barnabas's work and then gone off on his missionary journeys. But I think it clearly happens before Acts chapter 15 and the conference at Jerusalem where these issues are hashed out, because the conference in Jerusalem where these issues are hashed out and where the apostles sent out a circular letter to go to all the churches about the matter of eating food and table fellowship, it's not even referred to. In the book of Galatians, Paul is writing about these very issues, about Gentile Christians having to observe the law of Moses, particularly eating or not eating, and observing special days. And it seems that many Christians of Jewish heritage are insisting that Gentile Christians be Jews as well as Christians. And Paul is so angry about this in the book of Galatians that he's writing in all caps. He really is. He's very upset about this. And we get this tone of voice from the very beginning. And he recounts the episodes of some things that were happening at Antioch. When Peter came to Antioch, as we know, the apostles came to Antioch to see the work. When Peter came, what happened when Cephas was there? When Peter was there. And it's interesting that Paul doesn't ever call Peter Peter. He always calls him Cephas by his Jewish name, his Aramaic name, not the Greek name that Jesus gives him in the Gospels. I don't know whether that's to irritate him. I don't know why he does this, but he does. He only calls him Cephas ever. It says in Galatians chapter 2, verse 11, when Cephas came to Antioch, I opposed him to his face because he stood condemned. Harsh words about one apostle from another apostle. Prior to the coming of certain men from James. This is James, the Lord's brother, not James, John's brother. He used to eat with Gentiles, but when they came, he began to withdraw and hold himself aloof, fearing the party of circumcision. And the rest of the Jews joined him in their hypocrisy, with the result that even Barnabas, I get stuck here whenever I read those words, was carried away by their hypocrisy. When I saw that they were not straightforward about the truth of the gospel, I said to Cephas in the presence of everybody, if you, being a Jew, live like the Gentiles and not like the Jews, how is it that you compel the Gentiles to live like Jews? Wow. It's an amazing moment in the early history of the church where Paul gets into Peter's face, because when people from James, and it seems that James's party throughout the book of Acts are those who are concerned about keeping the law of Moses. When they show up at Antioch, Peter, who had no compunction about fellowshipping with everybody when it came mealtime, in order to not offend these more conservative, for lack of a better word, Christians as regards to the obeying the laws of Moses, he uh, he pulls himself away from his Gentile brethren, and the other Jews follow suit because this is Peter and even Barnabas, the most encouraging of all men in the Bible, does it too. And Paul can't stand this, and he gets in Peter's face, um, and tells Peter, "You have no right to act this way. You're being a hypocrite." Well, did did Peter learn his lesson? Well, we'll find out tomorrow when we go to Acts chapter 15. Thank you for joining us today.